everybody, Tiffanie Kellog here, and I am excited to be joined today by Eric Bunch, who is the owner of NTP2 Photography. It's there on the screen.
Yes,
Maybe he'll tell us how to do that a little bit later. And he does photography and video production. He actually owns the company. When he's not working, he does love his kids. He's actually got 3 little ones that are hanging out at home right now because they're homeschooled, right? Well, sorry, they're in charter school, but they're homeschooled now.
So the term they're using is virtual learning.
Oh, virtual learning.
That's the term because everyone hopes that we do not have to go to straight homeschooling because then that means there's no end in sight. It's permanent.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I didn't realize there was that distinction.
There's that. I learned it too.
Yeah, my little one, because I was, that's like one of the rules, the things not to do on the webinar is show your little puppy. But my little puppy is still in.
Let me see if that's on the conference call bingo.
Is that on the conference call bingo?
I don't see it.
Probably, and it's a conference call you don't get to see. But I always have to share my puppy if I have her in my lap. She's much more easy with the virtual learning. She just sleeps through it all. Eric also, so he's a father of 3. He has a podcast, loves to do things like that. And I was thinking in this series of videos that we're doing, okay, what's important for us right now? And video is huge right now. And so we're excited to be here today to talk to you about some video. So Eric, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Eric actually just got done working on my video, my speakers reel. So it shows me speaking and is great for people that are looking to hire me to see me. We met just a couple weeks ago, actually. He's going to be helping me record a couple videos to promote the Ignite Your Business program, the Room Full of Referrals program, and Socks to Success presentations. So I've been working with him on videos, and I thought, what a perfect person to have on here with us, because he was actually sharing that 2020 apparently is the year for video, even before this happened. So why is it that even before this happened, people are talking about video?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of things that go along with video. I just looked up some quick statistics, and over half of video content is viewed on mobile. And really, I'm just looking at a couple of them here. 1/3 of all online activity is spent watching video. So if you just go through your social media feed and you just scroll through and see how much of the percentage is video. And one of the most powerful things that I had heard from another videographer is he said, video wants to be seen, not heard. And so that was talking about how these videos, they don't have the audio turned on. They could either have the text on the bottom of it, to narrate it, or so it's that people are watching all these things, but they're not turning the sound on. So kind of keeping that in mind as well. So yeah, video was the way to taking off for business owners to market themselves, even before any of this happened.
And why, even before this happened, why was it important for business owners to be using video? And before you answer that question, I just want to let those of you know that are here, glad to see you hanging out. Those of you here live with us on our webinar. If you have any questions as we go along, drop them in the chat box. And we will try to get through those before we get done here in the next 30 minutes or so. All right, Eric, back to you. Why should business owners be doing video?
So business owners should be doing video for a couple of different reasons. One, obviously, it's the way that people want to see things. They don't want to read. They don't want to see the stock images. They can see through that when you've got someone's face half cut off. Promoting that you're a lawyer and you're meeting with someone. So video is the way that people are promoting, and that's what they're watching. The other part about videos is any type of marketing professional will tell you that you need to have an array of content. Not just all blog posts, not just all photos. You need to have a variety of this content. And video is one that's really important because a lot of these sites are looking at your activity and your content, and they're looking for that variety. If they're looking for custom content, blog posts, photography, and video, and they're looking for different platforms that they're being put out on, whether it be Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and when they see all of those different variety of content, then they're using that to basically determine whether you're relevant or not? And that's like a harsh word to hear. Like, is your business relevant? But it's really the truth. Is do you want to be relevant? Do you want to show up ahead of your competition? And video is the way that you can do that. And a lot of people ask me, I get asked this a lot, do we need to have all professional content, or, can we do some on our own? So yes, I would love for me to get hired and do content all day long for someone, but it's not feasible and it doesn't work with someone's budget. You can have, again, that variety of natural content, and then you can have the professional content as well, and that works out really well. And the biggest way and the easiest way, I'll go ahead and just drop this little hint for everyone that's listening, is customer testimonials. People ask me, they say, hey, can you get a testimonial of one of my customers? Well, sure, I can. But how powerful is it if they, at that moment, they just say, hey, can I get 10 or 15 seconds to share real quick what you liked about today's service or the product that you just purchased? As they're enjoying it, take your phone. Everyone has some crazy computer in their pocket, and the video on this is pretty good. It's good where, I saw something pop up on my screen. Should
No,
I?
I'll come to you.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. So yeah, and you've got a phone on you, just real quick, but you have to make it not intimidating. If someone is going to share their what they liked about the service, if I go in and I shove a camera and lighting and microphone, it's going to be quite intimidating, versus you just take your phone, hey, 10 or 15 seconds, can you share what you liked about today's service? Let's just say it's a spa, because I just worked with a spa just a few weeks ago, and he was talking about video and asked me to go do exactly that. So I shared with them, when someone comes out, you ask them, hey, 10 or 15 seconds, can you share what you liked about today? Boom, record it. It doesn't have to be anything really intimidating. So I know I kind of went way off on a different level there, but really video is important. And they had already said that 2020 was going to be the year that if businesses were not doing video, then they were going to start dropping as far as being relevant out in the industry.
Cool. And I want to ask a follow-up question to that, but in between, testimonials, because you mentioned that, because I'm big about, hey, I've got my phone, can I do a quick testimonial? I love doing that and capturing that social proof. One of the things I find that people like, or at least makes them less scared, I'm like, guess what? If you screw up, we're not live. We can just shoot it again. Yeah, most people, very rarely do I do a second take. 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15, maybe. But most people, it's just they shoot it. It's no big deal. We're good to go.
Seeing with me, when I have someone that's that nervous, I normally do a false take with them. So I'll just tell them, hey, the camera's right here. Just go ahead, say what you want, and then we'll record here in a second. I'll hit the record button. If they ask what the little red light is on the camera, then I have to come up with some kind of clever answer to what that is. But normally we can get through that. They do their testimonial. They say, how was that? I'm like, that was perfect. We don't need anything else because I already recorded it.
Cool. All right. So you were saying 2020 was the year of video before all this happened. But now we have social distancing.
Yes.
So what is the impact that has on video?
So the impact of that is obviously the social distancing. Anyone that, let's say a coach, for example, any type of live event in gatherings is deemed as not acceptable right now. But the powerful part about that is now it's the time to figure out how to transition online, which is really exciting because now you're expanding your audience versus a coach who's doing a local event. Well, now you can figure out a way to transition that online, and now you have this larger audience that could be watching, and that is exciting. So obviously video is the way to do that, whether it be Zoom or some type of online virtual video host, but you can also do online courses as well through some type of host for that. And obviously video is the way to go for that.
Now, when it comes to these online conversations like we're doing today, your preferred, do you have a preferred platform? I know we're here on Zoom. That's what I prefer to use, mainly because I've actually been using Zoom. I was looking at my account. You've been using Zoom since 2018. So I've had it for a few years. What is your preferred platform?
I like Zoom probably the best. I like a lot of them. Any type of, someone wants to go do a meeting, they can do FaceTime, they can do Google Hangouts, they can do Zoom as well. The really cool thing about Zoom is you don't have to have any kind of knowledge of Zoom to get someone on there. So once they click that link that you send them, then it will automatically install the app or the program on the computer to run Zoom. And that's what's really cool about it, that you don't need to have anything in place already versus, FaceTime, you have to have an Apple device. Google Hangouts, you have to have a Google account and you have to be signed into that. So I would say Zoom is probably the most powerful right now. And a lot of the other services, like I know Ring Central, which is a voice over IP, they have a video platform and it's hosted by Zoom.
Cool. Anything else you want to give to us prior to jumping into some tips on recording? So I know a lot of people are here because they want to do that more. Anything before we get into that?
I think we're good with that. I saw some different, questions popping up here.
Yeah, so I've got a question. A question we got from Richard was, some of the enhancements for video Zoom are not available because the age of my computer. Are there upgrades or am I looking at a new computer? And he said his computer is 8 years old.
I'd be curious to find out like what enhancements, you don't need to have a brand new computer. Let's just say, all right, the webcam is not doing a very good job. There's simple things that you can do, and this will kind of get into our tips on recording video, but you can also add a webcam, and that's a pretty small financial purchase to really enhance the quality of it, and really is lighting, which we're going to get into here in a minute.
So Richard said and this is actually a good segue because I know we were going to talk about this. He said one of the things he can't get to work is the virtual background. So can you tell us, because if y'all look, you see Eric has this really great background. Can you show us your other background, or is that like too hard to show us what's actually back there? Is that like pulling back?
What my background actually is?
Yeah. Is that like pulling?
Oh yeah, I can turn that off.
Oh, okay. So see, all right. So instead of having, the main white and a little of the garage behind it, so don't tell anybody he did that. He was hiding it well.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, even though this is recorded, don't tell anyone.
This is a secret.
I have 4 kids in the house, and there's 7 people amongst us, so I have taken my spot in the garage, and so with all of my equipment, I figured out a way to make that happen.
Cool. Now you can turn it back on so you look all fancy.
I'll turn it back on. So to answer Richard's question, that would be unfortunately a new computer, because you have to have a certain processor in order to activate that feature. So I would do some research on what Zoom requires, and then you could figure out from either some kind of computer IT specialist, hey, these are my requirements of what I need. Can you fit this within my budget?
Yeah, so Richard, it is a computer issue. It's not the screen issue. And as we go through, y'all have questions, please drop them in the chat box. I'll monitor that for that. I will monitor that for you, Eric. And then if you want to give us some of your tips, I know you've got something that you're holding as a prop. So what you got for us? Yeah, so
the biggest tip that I have for those that are shooting video is you want to be heard clearly. I learned this lesson very early on. This was from a mentor of mine. Bad video with good audio is a good video, but good video with bad audio is a bad video. So you can have whatever quality camera that you want. It could be the best camera in the world. And if they can't hear you clearly, then they're going to hop off and not want to talk to you very much. And the other part of it is now with the social media, I know Facebook before the audio sync was not working. So there is certain microphones that do have that sync in them if you plug it into a computer or you plug it into your device. So you want to make sure that there's no audio lag to it, because if that's not matching up and you're watching like an old style, what were those movies? The different martial arts,
Like the Japanese style martial art ninja movies.
Yeah, like how long can you manage to watch that, seeing someone's mouth move and then 5 seconds later hearing what they said? I can't watch that very long before it just becomes so distracting. So even something simple, if you're shooting video with your phone, even the built-in, the headphones that come with it, there's a microphone in here and it will recognize. You've also got, I've grabbed my Beats earphones, and these work as well. It will detect the microphone when you're doing something like Facebook or shooting video. So you want to make sure that you're heard clearly, and you want to make sure that there's not a lot of background noise. So if it's windy out, it might pick up a lot of that. If you're inside a small room and, you've got an echo in there, the best thing that you can do is record the video ahead of time and then watch it back and see what you sound like and see what things are there that could be distracting. So were there any questions that popped up so far?
Not yet.
So that's one of the big things. The next one is lighting. So you want to make sure, we were on a call this morning, Tiffanie and I, and one of the guys
outside.
Yeah, one of the guys were outside, and so it was pretty much the lighting was behind him, and then he just came off just complete shadow darkness. And
what that reminds me of? Back in the 80s when they would used to have the person on camera, but like you couldn't see them and they disguised their voice, like it was like they were the witness.
Oh yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. I've had at least one of those on every Zoom call I've done this week.
Yeah, I have too. So that's something that can be so simple to fix. You can see what it looks like. Just turn around and then face towards the light. And it doesn't have to be anything you have to stare at the sun and blind yourself, but just look around. Photographers, they have kind of a running joke, amongst the community. And so they'll say, what's the best time for a photographer to do a session, to shoot? Like what type of weather would be ideal? That was a question.
Oh, you were asking me.
Yeah.
Well, sunset.
So really the best time would be when it's cloudy out.
Oh, okay.
And as I say, that's like God's diffuser, because you've got the clouds that are between the sun and the subject, and it's acting as a diffuser. It's nice and filtered light. So you can look for somewhere inside that gets a lot of light, and you want to face towards the window. That way you've got that light coming in and hitting you. You don't want to be reverse where the window's in the background. Yeah, that might make for a good background, but it's going to mess with the camera. The other really easy thing that you can do when setting up and shooting these videos is you can grab some type of light. Like right now I have an actual light and like a ring light set up on me near my webcam. But you can even take a desk lamp, and I've done this before. You can take a desk lamp and set it up. And if it's too harsh where you're getting that shadow right down the center of your face, you can even take something like a sheet of paper and tape it to the desk lamp, and that will diffuse the light and soften it. That way it's not a hard light. Obviously, if it is a tungsten or incandescent bulb, you do not want to do that because it will heat up and you'll have an issue. But some of these desk lamps, I have one inside. It's an LED desk lamp, and it throws out the most harsh light ever. So you could do something like that. Just take some kind of sheet of paper and just diffuse it a little bit.
Gotcha. You mentioned background. So you've got the virtual background, but let's say, like Richard, your computer's too old, or you just don't want to do that. Did we tell them how to do that?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
So the virtual background is something that is available on the computer for sure. I think you can even do it on the iPad. I'm not positive. Most of my Zoom calls are done from the computer. But it's something really simple. There's an arrow right near the video feature, and then you can choose your virtual background. I chose to use it as a promotion opportunity to have my company logo and what we do in there. And that's something really simple. You know, I can go ahead and change it. This is the one I did last night.
Cool.
You know, so you can do a couple of different things with it. I think using it to, you know, kind of put yourself out there and what you can do is really powerful, and it's just one more way to promote yourself.
And see, mine doesn't work because I've got too much stuff going on in my background.
Well, and the lighting could help. So if you had more light aimed towards you, then that could help it cut out, because what the problem is the camera cannot see the edges. They're all blending in together.
My ring light, I ordered a ring light yesterday, just off of Amazon. I think it comes in tomorrow. I'm like, as many of these as I'm doing.
Oh yeah, it's something really easy, and these ring lights are pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, Richard said he tried the Zoom background, but without the green sheet, it doesn't work. It does have to be a solid background, but then Eric just said, you know, maybe if there was better lighting, so maybe try that.
Yeah, I would try more lighting, and it does not have to be a green screen. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you busted out the green screen just for the Zoom call. It just needs to be a solid background. It needs to be light colors, because then the camera can see along the edges. So you can see my shirt is pretty dark. If I had a dark background behind me, or if I had something dark, then it would not be able to see these edges, and it wouldn't know how to cut it out. So Tiffanie, see what a difference that made, just go into that solid color background?
Yeah, so this is my wall that has nothing, and then that's with it in there.
Yeah, so the camera's able to see along those edges and cut that out. So lighting can make all the difference in the world. You know, it's just something simple, ring light from Amazon. You know, you could be talking about, you know, $40, $50, or, you know, your desk lamp. You know, any type of light around the house, it could help out a lot.
What other tips do you have for us on recording?
The other tip that I have for recording is, if you're recording content to post on your website or YouTube page, you know, the biggest thing that I see is everyone recording this way. You know, and I did a presentation once, and I asked everyone, you know, let's just imagine that this is your TV. Do you have your TV sitting like this, or is your TV sitting like this? So that's the biggest thing, is turning the phone sideways. Now, that's not amongst all of these crazy social media, you know, media outlets that we have. That's not true with all of them. Some of them you want to leave the camera facing up and down.
Snapchat, I think, is really there.
Snapchat is one of the main ones where you leave it straight up and down. Instagram is more of the cube shape, so it will crop it down. But YouTube doesn't really know how to recognize a video that's recorded straight up and down, and then you'll get black lines on the screen. So while that could be okay, it could be distracting to some to not see the whole frame. There's different conversations around that, but you know, that's one of the biggest things, is just face the phone sideways instead of up and down, because a lot of these different hosting sites won't know how to recognize video that's recorded this way.
Gotcha. So we've got just about 5 minutes left. So for those of you here with us on the call, if you could put any questions you have for Eric in the chat box. While they're giving questions, other tips that you have that you wanted to share with us? Or do we cover most of the ones that were on the list?
Yeah, we covered pretty much all the ones that are on the list. It's just keeping it really simple, and just remembering these basic things. You know, when I started as a photographer and videographer, I was taught how to look for the light, and then add where necessary. So recording yourself ahead of time and listening to what the sound is like and seeing what the video turns out like is really powerful, because you may not like the way you sound, and that could be, most of it's confidence. Let's be real. Like this, we don't like seeing ourselves on video. We don't like watching it back. There's a limited group that do, coaches. Tiffany, what do you think about that? I mean,
I don't like watching myself on video at all. Though I have picked up some habits that I do that weren't necessarily good. Even if I was live in person, there's some habits I had, so that did help. But it does help me. I have a better understanding of how I'm being, and so I'm able to, it's practice. Let me watch it. Oh, I need to be. Where do I need to be? And like right now, because I usually talk with my hands, and those of you that knows me. Those of you that know me know that I'm a huge talker with my hands. Well, if I'm talking with my hands down here, where I would normally talk with them, all I'm doing is bouncing around and I look crazy. So I know on the video, if I want to talk with my hands, I need to do it up here, shoulders up. And so I don't do it as much, but I make sure that, I've got it there in the frame. So noticeable sound difference between me and you, Eric. So are you using a separate mic?
So I am using a separate mic, and it's nothing that is crazy intimidating. This is just a USB microphone that I got off of Amazon. They're about $60 or so, and this is what I use to record my podcast as well. The great thing is you can just, I'm trying to make it where it won't
disappear.
Turn the background off so it won't.
And see, I haven't listened to any of the calls I've done this week to remind me that I need my microphone. So I will be having that. I made me a new microphone.
And it can plug into the computer, or it's got this that can plug into an actual mixing board. So it's pretty universal. And the person that started Florida Podcasters Association, Chris, this is the microphone that he uses for all of his podcasts. If he's a guest on someone's podcast, he brings this microphone with him. And so when I heard him say it, he's the one that made podcasting cool in the state of Florida. I was like, wow, I have to get that. I mean, it's a $60 microphone. They have microphones that are, $400 or $500 or more.
I've actually have that microphone and completely forgot until you said something, Richard, that I need to get my mic back on. So we just have a minute or two left. Eric, I know that lots of people right now are having questions about all of this. How can people reach out to you? What does that conversation look like? What's their investment if they need help with this stuff?
So I'm doing free coaching for professionals that are utilizing Zoom within their business, how to change the background, how to even make this background. I will show you how. It's something really simple that I can share with you. How to set up your office, the lighting, the audio, things like that. I'm doing that coaching entirely for free. You can reach out to me by visiting my website, which is ntp2.com, or you can find me on social media at ntp2 photography, and that's the easiest way to reach out to me. My phone number is on the website. Anything further into that, if someone wants me to go and set up their office and literally coach them, further, then that is an investment. It's roughly about $75 per hour. And normally within 1 hour, I can, I've had people call me say, hey, I want to hire you for 4 hours of your time. Really 1 or 2 hours, I can overwhelm you with the amount of knowledge of how to do video. And then obviously, if you want to take it to another level beyond that and actually record a webinar or record a online series that you want to start selling, then we can talk about that. And that would be basically hiring us at that point.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's perfect timing because it's right up here, 11:44. We said this is till 11:45. Anything else you want to tell us before we sign off?
I would encourage everyone, just jump on video. You never know who's watching. I get nervous myself, when doing these different videos, and I, as much as I don't like it myself, I got in the industry because I did not want to be in front of the camera. Over a couple of years, my personality style has changed entirely. And so I would encourage everyone, just jump out there on video, do a Facebook Live, of your 800 friends, there might be 3 of them that could find a lot of value in what you're sharing at that moment. And they truly care about you and want to see what you've got going on. So, kind of overcome, get over that hurdle and do it.
All right. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you so very much, Eric, for your time
You're welcome.
and being
Thank
here
you.
today. And y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.